Hello. The dog daycare business is a growing phenomenon. Here at Jim Dog, we take it very seriously as we believe it can enhance every aspect of a dog's lives. Today, I want to answer the question, why should you bring your dog to daycare? To help me answer that question, I'm teaming up for a chat with Nick Delahanty, the managing director and owner of Barkley's Doggie Daycare service based in North County Dublin. Similar to Jim Dog, as you'll discover in many ways and different in others.
Yeah, it's great to be here. And as I look out the window here, I see the dogs, running around. So I'm in the thick of it. We're very busy, but like any small business, it's hard to keep going and stuff like that. But it's a brilliant business and unique business to be in.
Your service has a big outdoor side to it, the same as Jim Dog does. Can you describe your setup and what the routine for a dog at Barkleys looks like?
Yeah, so we've got a 6 acre site here, which I got a few years ago, and basically it was a cow field, and we've turned it into a doggy daycare center, basically. And our service is a little bit unique in that we provide a home pickup and drop back service, which basically means we're more of a logistics company. We're as much as of a logistics company as we are a daycare company, because as you can imagine, the logistics going into getting all the dogs home, collected at home, a lot goes into it. So what happens is we start collecting our clients' dogs from 7 a.m. in the morning, and we have now 9 doggy buses on the road across Dublin, north and south. And we start picking them up at 7. The route will probably finish by 8:30. And each bus will pick up between 10 and 15 dogs, and the buses are kitted out, with professionally customized crates, air conditioning, and things like that. The dogs love the doggy bus. They are just jumping up and down once it pulls up, and we love to see that. That's an advertisement in itself. So anyway, they get picked up and then they get brought here. Our site is in North County Dublin, and they arrive here probably around 9 o'clock, 9:30, and then we let them out and we separate them by size and energy levels. And we have teeny tiny town for the small guys and puppies, and then we have the bigger areas, and which are all about an acre in size, and we let them run and play all day in a very supervised, controlled manner. And we send lots of videos and stuff back to each of the owners. And if you're an owner and you're working at your desk or in the office, and you get this lovely video of your dog playing and enjoying themselves, it's a pick me up throughout the day. And then the dogs get dropped home between 3 o'clock and 4:30.
Cool. And someone has to be home to meet the dog in the
No,
afternoon.
for a lot of clients, we hold keys, or we arrange a lockbox and a ring, for the key to be held in a lockbox, or we ask clients to use ring doorbells, because with a ring doorbell, then you can see us come and go. It's as if you're there. So ring doorbells and lockboxes help us a lot, and an awful lot of clients can't be home. So yeah, we can just pop the dogs in. What we say to owners is that after the long day, the dogs have been playing. If they have a big feed waiting for them when they get home, my dog anyway just eats his food, and that's him done for the night.
Yeah, absolutely. We find the same. We advise our pet owners that on the days the dogs come to us and have a full day at daycare, they absolutely will not need a walk that evening. They'll eat their dinner, they'll be content, they'll socialize with the family, and then they'll conk out. And
Yeah.
do you advise on what's the optimum number of days in the week that you reckon a dog could or should be going to daycare?
Well, it depends on the dog. We have some dogs that come every day because that's just what the owners need. And what happens is, the dogs that do come every day, they become very used to the whole process and probably aren't as excited to go running, tearing around,
Yeah.
maximize every minute. So the dogs kind of grow accustomed to it. But even that, it does take it out of the dog, so they get a break. So my dog generally comes with me every day. I can look at him there. He's barking at me there at the moment. He comes with me every day, and he just chills out. He kind of has the run of the place. But older dogs, we would say, mind them a bit more, and it
Mm,
depends on the breed and stuff as well. Older dogs probably shouldn't be coming every single day.
mm. Yeah, we find the same, Nick. We have a good share of people who are on our membership, our monthly plans, and we have an unlimited daycare plan and we have a daycare plus plan. The unlimited daycare plan gives them 28 daycare days, 27, 28 daycare days a month, optionally, because we're available 6 days. So the only day they won't come for daycare is a Sunday if they're full members. And of those ones that are on the monthly plan, they probably are coming the 5 work days in the week, so they're coming 20 times in the month because that's the nature of the commute maybe that the family have, and there's no one at home. So those dogs become more acclimatized to everything, and they're more settled, and they pace themselves in terms of their exercise, and they get very used to mixing in their groups and who's their pal and who they mix with, and they get very good at taking their nap during the day, and it becomes part of their life. And then we get the pay as you go members who come 1 or 2 or even up to 3 days a week, and oftentimes they're full of energy, and they really make the most of their day, and they wouldn't be kind of as acclimatized, as relaxed, as settled, and they can be very active for the full day when they're here. Yeah. Um, and
Some of them just go bonkers. It's
go
brilliant crack
bonkers.
watching them.
We have to pace them a little. We have to actually say, right, okay, you've had an hour and a half out there now, and you haven't stopped. So come in for a rest. Yeah,
Yeah,
we,
well, that's the whole thing. We, some dogs might need a timeout or just to be protected from themselves a bit. But generally speaking, the other dogs will wear them out. If the way I like to say, if you're wrestling with someone your own size or someone bigger, you get exhausted pretty quickly. So when they're
they do.
playing with each other, they tire themselves out pretty quickly. But on hot days, we would be a lot more cautious and making sure that they don't overexert themselves. But on a colder day, we tend to let them go at it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And with the outdoor nature of, do you find you have to do a lot of washing?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at here at the moment. The lads are doing the
Yeah,
washing.
yeah,
Yeah. So we've got the way we do it. We have 9 doggy buses, and we separate them all across the site. So there's not a whole congestion or bottleneck of dogs in one specific part. So everything's quite spread out, and we have hoses and taps and cleaning stations on different areas. So it would be probably we all each of the buses work in pods of 2 or 3, and there'll be a lot of washing then from about 12:30 to 1 or 1:30, and we'll give them a wash down, we'll towel dry them, and then let them dry off on kind of the on a harder surface, so away from the muck, and then they can just walk naturally and dry off after being towel dried, and then they'll pop back into the doggy bus, and we'll give them their lunch. If people send them with any packed lunches, that's when we give it to them. And then pretty much once everyone hops back into the doggy bus, it's lights out. They go straight to sleep, and the journey back is a lot quieter than the
yeah,
journey here. Like the journey
yeah,
here can
yeah,
be very loud. Once as we get closer, the dogs have amazing sense. Once we turn off the road and get within 2 or 3 minutes from our site, they all just wake up and start howling. Uh, it's it's
brilliant,
it's hilarious. They're
brilliant. Well, we're very similar. We have a 2 acre outdoor area which is divided up into 6 paddocks. 4 of the paddocks are grass, but the 2 biggest ones are gravel and sand. So they're a little bit cleaner on the gravel and sand than they are in the grass. And
yeah.
the smaller and small to medium, the less active ones, we're able to confine to either the Astro or the 2 upstairs playrooms. So I have a large stable block that I've turned into our grooming salon and spa, where we do hydrotherapy and laser therapy, where our groomer operates. and that's downstairs alongside some kennels in the other stables. And the upstairs area of that stable block, which was the hayloft originally, that's divided up now. It's broken up into 2 big playrooms. And we would have the smaller, older dogs in one playroom and the smaller, younger dogs in the other. Now, these would be your minis and small breeds, anything below 10 kg in weight. And the loft area is big enough probably for those guys to have all the space and playtime and play area they need. So those little guys will be tired and they'll be clean by the end of the day. And again, the older, medium-sized dogs might be kept to the Astro, where they'll probably be clean as well. They'll stay clean, and they're mixing with the same energy levels of the dogs that they're comfortable with. Then the bigger guys have to be kept in size and age appropriate groups too. We have an older, large male group, an older, large female group. We have a mixed group of puppies and juveniles, and then you have a mixed neutered group of usually collies and Springer types, where you'd have the neutered males and the neutered females. Even the unneutered females, if they're not in heat, can all be in that medium-sized. And that's generally an active group, when you have Springers, collies, cockers, those breeds all together. And they'll be in one of the big outdoor paddocks. It's generally then the larger and the medium dogs will need the wash before they go home. Routine slightly different. We're open at 7. Kildare is a commuter town, so people are dropping from 7, and it's very, very busy between 7 and 8. The dogs are transferred to either the playrooms or the fields between 8 and 9, and they're out for most of the morning. They're in for a break or a rest or a sleep in the middle of the day, and then they're back out again for the afternoon. They'll get a wash late afternoon from 3 till 5 onwards, and some of them were collected from 4-ish or thereabouts right up until 6. So it's very, very, very full on. It sounds to me like you have a ratio similar to ours. Putting 2 and 2 together there, if you have 12-ish, 12 to 15 or 10 to 15 in the van with one driver, you have a similar ratio to ourselves, where I'm keeping a ratio of if I can manage the staffing, and keep my ratio to about 12 to 1.
Yeah, that's how it naturally kind of works out. And then we do also have a drop-in service where people can drop their dogs to us. So we're in North Dublin, so people in Swords coming from Drogheda or Malahide or Balbriggan can come to us. But it's funny, we've had that service going for about a year now, and we probably on a good day get 10 people dropping into us, and consistently 5 to 10, but not we haven't pushed, probably could be pushing it more. But it's funny, people, I don't know if we're just a little bit off the beaten track. I don't think we are. But that just hasn't exploded for us in the way that we probably thought it might.
Right.
And I'm not sure why that is, because all yours are obviously being dropped to you. But I think, for us anyway, people just seem to like the pickup service. Obviously, that's our USP. But yeah, I'm more interested to know how I can grow that part of it, being honest, because we're open from 7:30 in the morning and then closed. You can drop from 7:30 till 5. So maybe it's we should be earlier and later. But when you go into that, it means that you probably need an extra member of staff, and this is where it kind of gets tricky. It's like, do we put on an extra person to divide it up? So anyway, that part just hasn't been.
It's very hard to know, Nick. There's no one size fits all, and there's no ideal recipe. We began the 7 o'clock openings a year ago, and thankfully, particularly the members, they do appreciate it. There was conjecture at the time, would we increase the opening time to 7 p.m. And sure, you'd love to do that. You'd love to be able to facilitate people and stay open till 7, but the difficulty is just staffing.
Yeah.
And the team have to get home too. And many of them have to get home on the trains. In our case, it's youngsters who have just finished their animal diplomas or just finished their veterinary nursing qualifications, and they're using public transport, and you want them to get to their trains for 6:15, 6:30, and to just try and staff it up to 7 p.m. would be a stretch too far, I think. But it sounds like the different business models both work really well in the essential way that the core service is very similar, and both Barkleys and Jim Dog are meeting the dog's natural needs in the best way possible.
Yeah, and that's what I say to people is like, this is, you might not like the fact that there's muck everywhere and stuff, but the dogs love it. You know,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is they love it. Judge it by what your dog thinks. And the dogs just love it. And it's such like, before this I was doing law, and it just the enjoyment you get out of it, like
yeah,
every
yeah. I
dog,
know,
like
I know.
I never
Yeah,
get bored of seeing
no,
a person drive up, leave their dog, open the door, and the dog runs out and knows exactly where it's going. Doesn't want to even stop and say hello. It's got business to do. It's got to say hello to all its friends
yeah.
and go about it sniffing. And it's just brilliant. Like, it's just such a pleasure.
So fantastic. On that note, then, why bring dogs to daycare?
Well, look,
Yeah,
exactly, because they love it. I grew up in the country on a farm, and we always had dogs, and the dogs lived outside, and there was always two or three dogs. And it was only when I moved to Dublin I realized that the dog population of Dublin was getting bigger, but these dogs were living in apartments and they had nowhere to go. And then I got my own dog during lockdown, and I realized, like, the only place to go is a park on a lead. Very few off lead opportunities for a dog. Like, so I go to bed happy every day knowing that I provide a very unique service to hundreds, if not thousands, of dogs across Dublin, and I make them as happy as can be. Like, the dogs, it is essential. It is just essential, and I wish more people could afford it, because dogs make people better. They encourage responsibility in young people, and the cost of daycare is not cheap. It's not cheap, and
no,
a lot of
no,
it is tax, and it employs, by sending your dog to daycare, means your dog is better socialized and is therefore better able to um act around children, around families, around other dogs. So it should be an essential service. It's just essential thing. Like, if you want a dog in the city, it must pass like a sociability test of some sort, because you
yeah,
see people
yeah.
walking around with quite large or big dogs, and unless those dogs have been socialized properly, they could be dangerous. So we shouldn't be blocking dog ownership, dog services to people. We should be making them as accessible as possible.
Yeah, sure. I totally agree with you. One of my mantras is I always remind people that a walk isn't enough. A
Yeah,
walk isn't enough for a dog. Dogs need cardiac work. They need a run. They need both mental and physical stimulation more than just a walk, just as we do
yeah,
ourselves. So,
yeah,
have
yeah.
you any nice anecdotes about the benefits or the improvements you've seen in your doggy daycare regulars over the years?
Oh yeah, no, no, we've had some incredible success stories, or improvement stories, whether from all sorts of breeds, whether they're a very shy dog and they've just completely come out of their shells. There's one dog, her name is Leah. She was so scared of men, and we really worked with her. Um, and there's a mixed group here, but her driver every day was a man. And she was so scared of him. But after a few weeks of just coming, and she was, for the first few days, she was sitting by the gate. We could barely, even get close to her. But then, just through repetitive coming, like repeat trips, she's now completely opened up. Totally different dog.
Mm,
And
mm,
the owner wanted us to work with her. Then just recently we had a Shiba Inu who was extremely nervous, aggressive with other dogs when the other dogs came into the space. And so the owner rang us, and we worked. We said, yeah, we'll work as best we can. And completely different dog within the space of 2 weeks. Like,
mm.
they completely changed the moment, because if their only outlet is to go to a park on a lead, they're not going to learn a whole lot in that hour, while still being on a lead. If anything, it'll just reinforce their nervous behavior. So
Yeah.
bringing them here to a completely natural environment. Dogs are pack animals where they're out in the open and just allowed to be themselves. Like it's just incredible. So as I said, I go to bed happy every night knowing
Yeah.
that I'm providing just a really wholesome service to families and their dogs.
It's a wholesome service and it's a very essential service. I began Gym Dog shortly after COVID because I realized I was seeing a lot of new puppies, uh, new puppies and new puppy owners who hadn't been socialized enough because of the lockdown um, periods and needed immersion, needed immersion to bring them out of their shells, give them the opportunity to socialize, to meet other dogs and other people, and get over their fears and get over their nervousness, get over their anxiety. So immersion through one-on-one, careful, professional handling, and mixing them in appropriate groups where they wouldn't get a fright, where they'd get confidence, where they'd meet dogs that are better socialized than themselves, that would teach them little lessons of behaviors and teach them confidence. We find that by mixing the nervous, less socialized ones with the old hands and the old timers, they learn good behaviors and they learn to mimic and copy good habits. So that's the biggest benefit of it really, is that they can learn good behaviors and good habits from the other dogs.
Yeah.
We've had a German Shepherd called Jessie who was probably, I think the owners were at their wits' end, and she was very, very close to needing to be put to sleep because of her anxiety and her bad behaviors. And she's come out of her shell just through immersion and lots of exercise. Another German Shepherd who had very, very bad fear aggression, again, another lady owner who was at her wits' end in terms of what to do with Logan. Logan has come out of his shell, and just the level of confidence and good behavior that we see, as I say, just through immersion, like bringing children to school and helping them learn, giving them that bit of education. The benefits of it and the improvements that pet owners can see are immense. They're amazing. So, Nick, some of the owner feedback that you've gotten recently about Barkleys, as judging by some of the reviews I see, they're very, very good feedback. I'm sure you're getting all the time.
Oh yeah, our clients love it. Like absolutely love it. It's an incredible service. Like it's a white glove pet care daycare service. With the home pickup, and the home drop off. Some people, they book in on the app. We have an app. You book in. You get your email the night before, saying that we'll be picking up in a 15-20 minute window. When it all goes smoothly, some people don't even know their dog has been picked up. It just happens hands free, and then they'll get the video of their dog playing, and the dog will be brought back. And for some people, they ask us to put on music when the dog comes home, or put on the television and lay out the food. And, it's an incredible service.
Yeah, it is.
And our customers love it. And there's always going to be things can go wrong. We can break down, or someone phones in sick, and that's when we have to scramble. But one of the things I'm very proud of is in over a year now, we have not had to cancel a booking. We've always made it work. We've always gotten it done, gotten the job done, picked up the dogs. And so our team are extremely dedicated. Like it's the best job. It's one of the best jobs in the world if you love dogs. And it's so unique. Like,
Yeah,
it's so unique. Like, um, the guys who are here driving our buses, they love it. There's no other job out there like it. Like,
Mm,
um,
mm.
so they really, really come to work all the time happy. They pick up the same dogs, all the time. So they just develop a natural rapport with their dogs, with the owners, and yeah, it just works.
Fantastic. And the owners appreciate it. They love it. They can see the benefits in the dogs that come home
Completely.
happy
Oh,
and socialized.
yeah, no, completely. Like they, like we can just say this is Christmas week, and the amount of cards we're getting, the guys all getting chocolates or tips or whatever it is. There's just a feel good, atmosphere at this time because people are very thankful for for the service, and we'll be closed now for a week over Christmas. And you people are already saying, "Oh, are you sure you're not open for 1 or 2 days?" And we're not, because they want
Yeah,
the service. And
yeah.
even myself, like, some days when if I'm not here and my own dog, I can't bring my own dog, I'm booking my own dog in, uh, uh, because having if you're very busy and you can't get to walking your dog, for an hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours each day, you're at sea, so
Mm.
you need all the help you can get.
Yeah. So, Nick, we're happy to take them as soon as they've had their kennel cough vax and their full course of vaccination. So that could be 12 weeks of age. We're happy to take puppies because I actually firmly believe that the earlier, the better. The window of socialization, which is the optimum time in a dog's life where they can learn good habits and good behaviors and develop that confidence, is from 3 days of age, Nick, up to 16 weeks.
Yeah.
So ideally, if I can get puppies in 10 to 12 weeks, fully vaccinated, we know that we can put them into age appropriate, size appropriate playrooms. And what I don't know if you'll agree with this, but from what we've seen, the earlier the better.
I've just been joined by Marcelo. Up, come, jump, come up. I've just been joined by the main man. Here he is.
Oh, lovely. Golden
This
Retriever.
is my dog Marcelo. He's golden
Marcelo.
retriever. He's amazing. We take them in from 3 months, yeah, 12
Yeah,
weeks, and especially for dogs on restricted breed lists, bulldogs and types like that. Like the earlier the better. We will
I
we
fully
we
agree.
will
Yeah.
we will not we will be very hesitant to take, a male that's a year and a half old, because
First timer.
we'll try it, but at that stage it can be too late.
Yeah.
So the earlier the better, especially for some breeds. And if they grow up in a daycare environment, they're just they become bomb proof. There's not nothing much you need to worry about.
No, my golden retriever Bonnie, who's been coming since she was 3 months of age, comes to daycare with me every day. Also, yeah,
Yeah,
I'd echo your thoughts there. Bonnie's bomb-proof and loves it, and as a result of that is that she's happily travelled all over Europe with us. She's been on boats. She's you name it. Yeah, the
yeah,
benefits of it in Bonnie have been massive, and yeah, been delighted to see it. And yes, we do take restricted breeds in Gym Dog. We put them through an induction day for health and safety. Um, the occasional dog will fail the induction day, and oftentimes that's because it's a little bit too late, they're a little bit too old to fully
yeah,
get to grips with the whole socialization package. So the earlier the better. I fully agree.
yeah. No, you got to be careful. Like, no matter what, you're working with animals, so you got to be careful. I say to all the guys, we can never let our guards down here. They are animals at the end of the day, and we do take restricted breeds, but you got to be careful too. And no matter who, what happens, little scuffles can break out, and we say this to owners. The dogs can, same as children on a playing pitch. Injuries can happen, things can happen. So
Mm,
the most common injury is actually to greyhounds and whippets and lights,
mm,
sighthounds,
yeah,
because
yeah,
their skin is so brittle. And
mm,
what happens is they're running fast, and someone puts out a claw or a play bite, and their skin
mm,
will rip. So that
mm.
that we make it mandatory for them to wear jackets, just to help with that. But every 2 or 3 months, we've got a cut, and they have to go to the vet. It's nothing too serious, but it's a trip to the vet. It's going to cost some money. The dog won't be allowed to come back for a few weeks, but it's generally lurchers and things like that.
Yeah, I'd actually agree with you. Yeah, and I think, look, the cost benefit ratio, it's an acceptable risk to take. But bites and cuts and scrapes, the dogs don't mind themselves. They're usually not too
Yeah,
bothered. Oftentimes, the owners are more upset than the dog.
yeah,
Little cuts and scrapes and bites, they will happen. Dogs will be dogs. Again, like you, we see, possibly a little minor incident like that could be one a month, maybe. But
Yeah.
I've actually never had a serious injury, a serious accident, or a serious bite. Nothing that a simple one-off trip to the vets wouldn't fix.
Yeah, no, we've had nothing. Yeah, other than that, we've had a few kind of dogs who've hurt their paw from running or stuff like that, but they've always kind of healed up after a few days, maybe just
Yeah,
pulled.
good,
Um, but
good. Again, a kind of an old-fashioned term, kennel cough. You've heard of it?
yeah,
Yeah, kennel cough. Now, I prefer to use the term canine cough because I think kennel
okay,
cough gives the wrong impression that they can only catch it in a kennel. Whereas, in fact, like any upper respiratory infection, they can catch it from tipping noses, from,
yeah,
play and normal contact, normal interaction. And canine cough it's a combination of a bacteria and a virus together in a little infection they can get. And I've seen it, probably once every 2 years. We'll get a little wave of 3 or 4 dogs. We'll get a cough. And
yeah,
what I classify that as is the vaccination breakout or breakdown. In other words, they're vaccinated, but somebody has been in contact with canine cough and somebody has transferred it to somebody else. And a few of them who thankfully are well vaccinated might get a little touch of it. And we've generally that kind of pattern. Might be a few cases, might be every 2 years. And what we do is we recommend they get 3 to 5 days of an amoxicillin antibiotic and they stay home for 10 days to 2 weeks. And just monitoring that and watching that, that's as serious as it ever gets. And the reason why that's as serious as it ever gets is because, probably like yourself, we're very, very strict on the vaccinations.
yeah. Oh yeah, you got to have approval from the vet first to come here. And we on our form, it's all the boxes need to be ticked. So yeah, we've had reports of dogs getting canine cough, and even though they've been vaccinated, they just stay home. But we've never had like a breakout where we've had 5 or 10 dogs at the one time. Maybe, maybe,
The odd one.
maybe yeah, it's just been the odd one. Um, yeah, so we've probably been a bit lucky maybe on that at the moment, but we're very careful to, we wash down the doggy buses every week. We give them a full clear out, full wash down, disinfectant, and we just have that part of our routine anyway.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
just
good. Again, though, Nick, with good hygiene and a good outdoor environment like that, being able to keep little coughs and sneezes like that to a minimal level, it's an acceptable risk, and the benefit far outweighs the risk. And like children going to school, really, these things can happen occasionally.
Yeah, there's always going to be a level of risk, um, but yeah, most clients, see the absolute benefits.
So to summarize, as one doggy daycare manager to another, the benefits of it for owners are massive, and the benefits far outweigh any. In other words, it's good value, Nick, isn't it, in terms of what we offer?
Oh no, yeah, well, completely. If you love your dog, this is the best thing you can do for them. And the other thing to note is that we operate fully outdoors, but fully enclosed as well. It's very safe. The dogs cannot get out, or nothing can get in. And one thing that I just kind of worries me is that there are a lot of dog walkers that bring the dogs up the mountains and let them off. And I have mini anxiety attacks when I see
Yeah,
these guys on
yeah,
Instagram, because
yeah.
they're all good. They're nice people. I know a lot of them, but I just know that if I would not feel comfortable having a pack of 5 to 10 dogs off a lead up a mountain, knowing that a
No,
deer, a fox, a car, anything could happen, a fight between the dogs, anything could happen, and you're just up there with no supports, no, one dog could run off that way, one could go that way. So, the whole idea is that this is very structured. It is basically a school for dogs, and very well managed. We have a ratio of staff fully supervised all the time, and we're completely accountable to um to the for the work we do in the you're putting your dog in custody with us, and we're very responsible, and we take that responsibility extremely seriously.
Very seriously. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It sounds to me like Jim Dog and Barkleys have a lot of the same principles in place. It's the principle of a natural environment, a natural setting, allowing dogs to express themselves, but with a level of control and health and safety and supervision and professional care and attention all in place, so that we can maximize the experience for the dogs and the benefit they get from
Yeah.
it.
Well, that's the thing, and I've said this before, is that there are no regulations or laws in Ireland about setting up a doggy daycare or minding dogs. Anyone can do it,
That's
and
right.
that's good. That in some ways, that's good because you can set up a business easier, but in some ways it's bad because there are no requirements, and you can invite people that are just putting dogs into a back garden, closing the door, and not watching them. So there
Sure.
needs to be a level of professionalism, in this. And I don't mind that we don't look after dogs overnight, but I've definitely seen some places that look after dogs overnight, and the conditions are just, appalling. But then I've
Can
met
be,
some
yeah.
people,
Yeah.
and the conditions are incredible, and the price will reflect that. And
Sure.
we try and steer people to the people that are doing it right,
Sure.
because it's so important. Like dogs, what's happening at the moment is that people are getting dogs before they're having children. The couples are getting married, and they'll get a dog before they'll have a child. So the dog is
Sure.
now a child in the family, and people
Sure.
want the service to go with that. Like, so many times I get asked, do we provide, that the customers will actually pay more money for even better service, like a more direct, personalized service.
Sure.
And I'm
Sure.
like, well, we're not set up to do that. It just doesn't, we can't take the dogs later. We can't work on Saturdays. It just doesn't work the way we're set up at the moment. But
No.
the demand out there, people just love their dogs.
The demand is huge, but to do it properly, Nick, it requires a level of care and attention, and the staffing ratio and so on, and the skill set. It's very, very hard to do any more than you're doing. And I feel the same. It's difficult for us to do more than we're doing and keep the standards. We have a boarding facility. We board about 20, but we keep it to members only. So our boarders wouldn't be first timers. They wouldn't be strangers to us. As I say, it's just the dogs that are already fully immersed in the daycare system, because otherwise you run into other problems. And we'd love to be able to take more and do more, but we're happy doing what we can for now with the dogs we have.
When you try and scale, you lose a lot of of the quality. You can lose quality very quickly, and losing quality in this industry, like this industry, is you're only judged on your quality
Correct.
of care to each individual dog.
Individual dog. Yes.
So we went from zero doggy buses to 9 doggy buses pretty quickly in the space of a year and a half. And that but I was working, like I was so stressed to get there. It took every single thing I had. And now for the last 8 or 9 months, I've made the decision, we're not growing anymore. We're not sacrificing anymore anything. We're just going to perfect the service that we have now, and we've gotten it to the stage we want, and we're delighted. And maybe now we'll grow at a slower pace, in order to ensure we keep the quality that we want. But it's just so important, and it comes down to, as I said earlier, the doggy bus drivers have a rapport with their dogs. So if a doggy bus driver leaves for whatever reason, they have to go back home, or they just get a new job, or whatever it is, you have to, it takes a few weeks to find a right fit, because you want someone that has a natural rapport with the dogs, the customer, and that is also an excellent driver. Like the driving is actually one of the most important parts, because you want a safe driver. So the more people, the more strands you have, the more turnover you're going to have, and finding people is just so important. So yeah, we're happy at the stage we're at the moment, and but the demand is out there. So in the future, we'll probably be looking as how can we expand our services, but not at the sake of quality.
Brilliant. Well, look, it's been great fun comparing notes with you and comparing Barkleys to Jim Dog. We have a lot in common. We have a lot of the same principles in place, particularly around the doggy the routine and the day management. Our USP is we're vet led and vet driven, and we're able to provide the daycare service alongside a vet hospital setting. Your USP is aside from the drop and collect service, it seems to me the USP is the attention to detail and the care and thought that goes into it. We're both trying to be owner focused as much as dog focused, and from what you've said, it seems to me, Nick, you've got the balance between the owner focus and the dog focus. You've hit the sweet spot there just about.
Well, the dogs can't book themselves in. That's if they could, they'd be here every day. But so it's the owners that booked them in, and that's why the videos are so important. So we use WhatsApp an awful lot. Every dog has a WhatsApp group, and we every WhatsApp group is updated all the time with videos and photos throughout the day. And so just the logistics of that, so like we're constantly I'm constantly on WhatsApp looking every day at all these updates going to all these customers, and even scaling. So that's actually a bottleneck for us, is like that actually can't scale. You actually need a more customized kind of software component to this, even though WhatsApp is excellent, but that's the level of service or the each customer wants to be that close to you. Like they know that if something goes wrong, they'll be talking to me straight away.
Brilliant. I like that. I like that. We have an owners group on our website.
Yeah.
And we're using that in the same way, or posting updates on our owners page, which is on our website.
So can the all owners chat to each other?
No.
Everyone can just see.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it sounds to me like the WhatsApp groups are a good idea.
No, I wouldn't wish it on you, because I'm actually I would say I'm in more WhatsApp groups than anyone. I'd love to find someone that's in more WhatsApp groups than me. I'm in over 2,000 WhatsApp groups. But now, but like if you just look at my phone, like my phone is just constantly 280 WhatsApp messages just there at the moment. Because they're all updated. And so, but I'm used to it now. And the guys, each doggy bus driver, is the first point of contact in each one. But I'm in all of them, and then there might be one or two people in all of them. So it's the best way. Like Jeff Bezos says, think about what the customer wants. And it was something like that. I butchered the quote, but you got to think of the service from the point of view of the customer, and that is what the customer wants. They want the WhatsApp group, because it's the easiest for them. Because for them, everyone's on WhatsApp anyway, and so for the customer, they're on WhatsApp. They have their family group, their work group, they're talking to their friends group, and then they just have a group for their dog. So for them, it's just one more. But for me, for us, it's thousands. But it just works very well.
Very good. Fantastic. Well, Nick, it's been great fun comparing notes and learning from what Barkleys is doing. And hopefully the main benefit of this chat for the listeners of our podcast is the opportunity to hear from yourself as well as from me what the benefits of bringing your dog to Doggie Daycare will be. So hopefully we'll get a chance to chat again. And
absolutely. Thank you, guys. I've enjoyed that
again in the future, Nick. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And just for our listeners, if you've liked this video, please do like and share, and follow us on A Pet's Life on Spotify. So goodbye for now from Nick Delahanty and from myself.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, Nick.